Hello everybody, it's me, Hex, and today, I bring you another video. You're asking, oh, why so soon? Well, I decided that it might be potent if I started doing these more often, as I did promise I would a while ago, and I never really got to it. So, let's begin. Oh, I didn't even tell you what this was. You probably can tell from the name of the video and the picture, but this is What If Deku Had a Sound Quirk. Alright, we're going to pick up our start where most do. His birth, as he is born a normal child, except for his eyes. His eyes are odd. They're slit like a cat's eye, but not as pointy. They're just more rectangular. You can see by the video. His eyes look the same, like they're just as big as normal eyes, it's just the pupil is different. That's what I was trying to get out. There we go. He is born perfectly normal with nothing odd. We take a small time jump to when he is 4. Oh, and before we continue, I'd like to mention, his father in this is someone that we don't know. It's, let's just say Inko got really drunk one night and woke up with a baby. That is why he has his quirk. It's not Hisashi like in the actual anime with the fire breathing. No, it's different. Anyway, we see as Izuku is playing with the other kids on the playground when Bakugo walks up. And they've been good friends for a while, but Bakugo got his quirk a little bit ago. And he started to get really cocky, so he's about to go bully a kid when Izuku says, "Hey, you shouldn't do that, you know. It's not nice. Doesn't your mom want you to be nice?" Him not really seeing any issue with what he said, he sounded polite to him, apparently pisses Bakugo off somehow. As Bakugo is about to go hit him, Izuku says, "Stop! Don't do it! You'll get in trouble, and I will too, and I don't want to get in." Bam! He's just punched across the face. Bakugo's a vicious little one, he is. Izuku sighs as he stands up and rubs his face as he's about to call for a teacher. The two bullies that are standing to either side of Bakugo quickly use their quirks. Dragon Kid does nothing, but I don't remember if the other one actually showed off their quirk in the anime. If not, or if so, sorry, but if not, let's say they have some sort of muffling quirk. They're an emitter. They emit this sort of foam, and the foam hardens around Izuku's mouth so he can't do anything. They beat on him for a little bit until one of them punches the foam and cracks it. He lets out a scream of pain as one of them steps on one of his legs, and they instantly fall as their ears gush with blood. Izuku doesn't know what he did, but he just stands up and starts limping towards the teacher's office. Takes him a bit, but he gets there and tells her what happened, that they beat on him, but he got up and screamed, and their ears started bleeding. Her thinking that it was just like a little dribble wasn't in a rush as she called Inko and started walking out towards the playground. When she got there, she saw that the two kids, the two bullies' ears were rupted and would never hear again. Bakugo got off lucky and was only minorly injured. She was almost horrified of what just happened, but she doesn't, do anything more than just tell, the hospital to see if they can do anything, because there are people with healing quirks. Maybe they can repair these younglings' ears. But we don't care about them, do we? We continue with Izuku, as him and his mom are at the quirk doctor's place. He does a manner of tests, and then him and his mom sit in the office, and the quirk doctor starts off with, "Well, Inko, do you know who his father is?" She shakes his head. "Alright, what is your quirk?" She tells him, "My quirk allows me to levitate small objects towards me." He nods. "We have likelihood to expect or suspect that his father is a sound hero known as Echo." You mean that hero that passed away a few years ago?" He nods. "But how is that possible? I've never met a real hero before." The doctor just responds with, "Well, he has the same sort of quirk, and we have some blood samples left from Echo's past. The DNA matches up almost perfectly." "Oh, I guess it has to be then." He nods. "So, where did he get that scar?" He points towards the scar on Izuku's left cheek, which, yes, he does have this at the age of 4. She then goes to explain that while Izuku was playing on the playground one day when he was 3.5, he fell off and was about to break his neck when he screamed and kind of floated for a second and then landed. But he did fall on his face and still cut open his cheek. It wasn't too vicious, but it was enough to leave a scar, you know? The doctor nods, as that's very plausible. He then tells them, "Alright, now that discussion is done, we shall discuss young Izuku's quirk. I am calling it Echo Manipulation, and I'll explain that in my voice so I don't stretch out my throat." Echo Manipulation, or the ability to re-amplify and echo something a lot. Basically, what this allows him to do, anything that he hears and, feels, I guess, since he has this odd sense for sound. He can manipulate sound waves in such a way that he basically can weaponize them. I was going to call this sonokinesis, sonic kinesis, because he controls sound waves, but come on. Echo manipulation sounds a little cooler, doesn't it? Anyway, this quirk allows him to take in sound waves through his body as if he was just harnessing energy. And then he has a certain limit that he can absorb. When he reaches that limit, they unleash without his control. But something he's able to do is any sound wave he picks up, he can echo it inside of himself and unleash it at a larger scale. Or he can make walls out of sound waves to make a thing echo without anyone hearing it until he breaks that wall and the echoes come out. Basically, he amplifies things to the best of my capability with my small brain. That's how I'm going to explain it for now. Hearing this, Izuku is very excited, because sound waves and all that, he doesn't quite understand them, but they seem powerful. Inko knows how dangerous this could be, and Izuku still doesn't know about the 2 kids that he deathened. But like I was saying, Inko knows how dangerous this could be. He ruptured 2 kids' ears at 4 years old. So, she's a little suspicious of this, but nothing else goes by. For the next few years, Inko puts him into quirk, a special quirk training office that can help him get control of his quirk, because, you know, if it activates every time he's in pain, then people are going to die every day, basically. Through the next few years, he learns how to control it, and we are going to pick up a few months before the actual last day of middle school, like we see in the anime. This time, Izuku has made a bunch of friends. Like, he has a quirk, he's quite popular. Because he's super good with musical instruments. There we go. He plays the guitar with expert fingers. He can drum better than anyone. That sort of thing. But his best wheelhouse is making dubstep videos. He can use his quirk for those. How he does dubstep is he can basically turn normal sounds. Like, you play one note on a guitar. He can change that note from guitar into 700 different notes, basically. It's very interesting. Like I said, it's not only echo manipulation, it's a bunch of different things that all equal the best sound quirk you could get. And everyone listens to his dubstep. Everyone loves his dubstep. It's like the rave of the town at this point, since he's so good at making it that everyone's gonna listen to it. So one day, give me a second, I hate doing this, but my new stuff doesn't allow me to pause the audio. Alright. Sorry. As Izuku, we resume to just see him hanging out with a bunch of his friends. They're laughing and talking about things, and they decided to go out to go get something to eat. You know, they're all 14, they're old enough to get stuff to eat, right? As they go to the closest restaurant, it's like a tavern. If you don't know what a tavern is, it's basically a bar, but this is an underage bar, if you can say that. It doesn't serve alcohol to anyone under the age of 21. Sorry. Anyway, what this place looks like, it's basically like a little club. When you walk in, you go down a few sets of stairs, you walk through. To your right is the bar where they serve drinks. To your left is a stage with a bunch of different instruments on it. People go up randomly to play, sing karaoke, all that. In front of you, there are 12 different tables, randomly assorted, with people staying on them randomly. Izuku and friends go over to the bar and order some food and drink. Of course, they order like fruit punch and a soda, different things. They are, of course, listen, Deku orders a water to make sure his throat don't hurt, because, you know, his quirk resides on his throat. Or any sounds he can make. I wouldn't say just his throat. Anyway, sorry. To continue. The band that is currently playing goes down and orders a drink themselves. While the stage is vacant, a bunch of Izuku's friends urge him to go up and do some dubstep. He sighs as he agrees and steps up onto the podium as he coughs, clears his throat, and says, "Hello, everybody." And everyone basically say hello and all that. He doesn't only do dubstep, he does different things, but anyway. He says, "Today I'll be giving you guys a song all of my own." They all cheer a bit as he starts to play. I'm gonna make sure you guys can hear this. He makes these sounds through the cheers and different noises already going on in the area. We listen to him play as he's jumping around, waving his hands in the air, as we see basically holograms of different levers and dials and all these different things pop up as these bluish green holograms. He slides levers and spins some sort of disc. He's the whole charade, basically. As it hits the beat drop, everyone starts to cheer as they are super excited about this. They can't believe that this kid is so talented. They don't know what he's doing. As a few minutes pass, the song ends, as we're just gonna have that on throughout the entire time, since, you know, it's copyright free. I don't have to be scared. I will credit the person that made it in the comments if you want to go listen to more of his music. It's awesome. I love this dude. Anyway, need to make sure that's not too loud for you guys. He goes down as everyone's like cheering, and they start buying him rounds of different drinks. He doesn't accept any of the alcoholic, but he'll accept like non-alcoholic drinks, if you can know what I mean. Basically, like, they make a cocktail, but instead of vodka, they add like some sort of like extremely watered down vodka, we'll say. I think that's what, yeah, whatever. We're going to pick it up with them leaving the club and deciding to split up since it's almost nighttime. So they all start heading home, but Izuku is stopped by someone. Izuku is stopped by a sorry guys, I needed to do something real quick for myself. Izuku is stopped by a girl with purple hair and a black getup. She says, "Wow, your music was really cool. What was your name again?" Hello, I'm Izuku Midoriya. They talk for a little bit before she introduces herself. I just realized that you weren't hearing music. Sorry about that. It's the bad part of YouTube. Sorry. We pick up. Actually, I could just make this a lot easier. This is gonna be kind of a sloppy video, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of thinking of a lot of stuff at once, so if I go here, I pause this. Damn it. Okay, there we go. Play space. Please tell me this works. Okay, it's gonna repeat itself, but oh yes, I must turn it down a bit. Alright, that should be good. She introduces herself as Kyoku Jiro. I said that wrong. She just introduces herself as Jiro. They immediately kick it off, and they start talking about different things. Jiro, sorry. They start talking about different musical instruments and what their favorite is. They both agree that they love the bass, but Izuku says that his personal quirk, the slider, is what he calls it. Of course, it's echo reverberation and sound quirk, all that. It allows him to basically, he has this piece of technology in his hair. You can see it, it's the hair clip. That when he is using his quirk, it puts out this like hologram, and it basically helps him train his quirk. But at the same time, he can use it to make dubstep and music. He tells her on how much fun it is to make dubstep music, and he invites her to his studio if she wants to come make some with him, and he can help her with music that she wants to make. She agrees kind of anxiously, but they separate, and a few days later they meet up in a basically abandoned warehouse that Izuku found. He then like pulls off a tarp and then shows her his entire setup with like 4 guitars, 2 drum sets, like 6 bass guitars, a bunch of different things. A piano, that sort of stuff, which he can use his hair clip to make a personal piano that he can use his quirk for. When he takes a sound wave, he can change it as well. I don't know if I said that before. Anyway, sorry, I keep getting off track. They then start recording, and it just shows him and Jiro rocking out as basically like the most recent arc with the show they put on for everyone. He's streaming it and recording it, so all the people that watch his streams for his dubstep are now watching this, and they're not only playing dubstep, they're playing different songs that people like, songs that they've created, stuff like that. Everyone watching it immediately starts to jam out to this awesome music. As they get closer friends, eventually the last day happens, and Jiro did not transfer to his school or anything. It's not that. The teacher walks in as he's holding a stack of papers. He says, "Alright everyone, today is the career aptitude test, or where you guys will decide what schools you go to for the future." Well, that's what I should be saying, but I know you all want to go to hero courses. As he throws the papers in the air, as everyone starts cheering and using their quirk. This time, Izuku joins in as he just does a little bit of a reverberation to make a sound go from super low to super high pitched, then back to low. Everyone stops their like yelling and using their quirks to look back towards Izuku, a little astonished that he did that so fast without any preparation. By the way, he always has this going on in his headphones, the things you see on at the moment. I think that's a headset, yeah. So that's why we're listening to it all the time, because technically he is. He's also done really good in most of his tests, because he had a quirk. He wasn't depressed for his life. He's trained to get better, because he still thinks that he can beat Kachan in a battle of, to see who can be the best hero. He believes he can beat him with true confidence. That's too loud to say. So he's trained his body. He's faster, stronger than he is in the anime, to begin with. And him and Bakugo are great friends, like very good friends. Bakugo in this is no longer a bully. Instead, he helps make music with Izuku and gives him inspiration and stuff like that. Generally helping him out, being like a right-hand man, basically. And on that part, Izuku helps him train his quirk. So, I might need to turn this off so I can concentrate. Alright, for now, it will be muted for us. Sorry. Izuku, laughs a bit as everyone's just like, whoa, they totally forgot they have an idol in their class, which basically, he is an idol, he just doesn't do stage, like, very large stage, performances. He does have hundreds of thousands of views, though, so he's pretty popular, you could say that. Everyone is quiet as the teacher says, "Two of us are going for the UA, I see." He says, "Bakugo, you're going for UA?" Everyone mutters, makes sense, pretty much top dog. And then he says, "Oh, interesting. Izuku, you're going to UA as well." Everyone stopped talking for a second, and then they look towards Izuku with a slow turn and say, "Wait, you're not going to art school to learn more about music?" As everyone is extremely confused, Izuku clarifies, "I know as much about music as anyone. I don't need more training in it if I'm already that good at it." He is super cocky about his music, by the way, but that's about it for what he's cocky about. Everyone's like, yeah, makes sense. He has a pretty powerful quirk, so he probably can do something. But they don't know that his quirk can be used to attack things. Except for that one time when he was young, no one has ever seen him attack things with his quirk. Alright, he starts to head home after the school day. Bakugo, actually, as Izuku is packing up, they did see the fight at the beginning of the day about between Mount Lady, Comboey Woods, and the shark giant guy, whatever he was. He finished his notes and then he started packing up, and Bakugo walked over to him and said, "Hey, me and my goons over here," as he chuckles because everyone calls them his goons. "We're gonna go hang out at the arcade if you want to come along." Izuku says, "Thanks for the invite, but I have to go do something after school. I promised another friend that I would help make some music." Bakugo says, "Whatever, nerd. See you tomorrow." And he heads towards the arcade while Izuku, going shopping, or about to go shopping, and about to go help his friend, which is Jiro, with music, is interrupted on his way. As his headphones are on, he doesn't hear the crate rattle behind him. But as the crate flies up, just lucky happenstance, the crate hits the bottom, the top, basically the roof where he is standing, or the top of the bridge, and knocks rubble, which bounces off the top of Izuku's head, which makes him duck down for a second and take off his headphones to see the sludge monster basically rainbowing over him like an arc. Him immediately knowing what to do, lets out a scream as these sound waves are visible. They're so large and so dense that they're actually visible like airwaves. They impact the villain, pushing him back. As Izuku gasps for air a little bit, the sludge villain turns around and says, "You'll be a great host. Don't give me too much trouble, eh?" But as he's saying this, Izuku is readying himself. As he starts to play a beat, he's ready for this. He's been ready for this. He's trained his quirk for his entire life just to gain enough control to be a hero. He's not going to let some damn sludge monster stop him. As the villain dashes towards him, we cut away from him as we see All Might jump out of the sewer. But he sees the kid is very confident, so he's going to sit back for just a second to see what this kid will do. We turn around to see as Izuku stomps the ground and the sound waves that come from it reverberate, and he grabs them. Like he's just grabbing some sort of strands out of the air. And then he ties them around his fist and waits for the villain to come close. And when it does, he punches at the villain as the sound waves explode, creating this dubstep beat. As the villain is reverberated from the inside, it starts separating itself as it is being destroyed from the inside out. He does one last final thing as he takes in the biggest breath he ever has before and yells, "Vibration overload!" And he turns his voice itself into a shockwave that disintegrates the enemy. As he bends over and throws up a bit from the exhaustion. One of his weaknesses is if he uses his quirk too much, he gets sort of nauseous and he gets a really bad migraine. As he rubs the side of his head, he pops a few pills as the migraine starts to go away. All Might says, "I am here." and walks over to Izuku, saying, "That was a very nice showing, young... What is your name?" Izuku turns around as he's amazed. He stops his music just in case there's any sort of danger there. And he says, All Might, my name is Izuku Midoriya. Geeking out a bit. "Ah, well, young Midoriya, that was a very impressive showing you just did." You think so?" "Well, yes. You took him out in, from what I saw, 2 moves." "Well, it was really 3. I didn't see you arrive, though." Nonetheless, you did very impressive work. Now, I'm going to scoop up this villain and leave." He starts gathering a bottle. Izuku grabs an empty bottle from his backpack and helps. When they finish, which they finish faster in this than in canon, because, there's 2 of them working on it, Izuku says, "Before you go, could you sign my notebook?" And he hands All Might his notebook. All Might agrees as he signs his notebook. "Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I have so many questions." "Well, young Midoriya, I'm running out of time to put this villain back in rest before he wakes up. Maybe we'll meet again." And All Might jumps away when Izuku's a little sad, but he remembers Jiro and decides to go directly to the warehouse to tell her about what just happened. But on his way, he notices and hears a humongous explosion. And he just already knows from the smell of sulfur in the air, and he hears the vibrations from the explosion. He also can hear way better than anyone else on this world. He hears screams, and one scream in particular that he zones in on. Bakugo, screaming, "Get the hell off of me, you villain!" He moves before thinking. As he looks towards the ground and lets out a shriek, as he flies into the air, he quickly yells again, grabbing the sound waves, spinning them around, wrapping them around himself like some sort of hammock, and then using those sound waves in his control, he floats his way over towards where the villain is attacking Bakugo. But he's just about out of steam. As he lands in the crowd, he sees the heroes aren't doing anything. They can't get to him, or they won't get to him. Izuku, knowing that this could kill him, doesn't care. As he runs forward, his head hurts as he closes his right eye to cover some of the pain. Everyone will see as 2 blue holograms show up of dials and a wheel, basically. What people normally use. As the band on his head starts propulsing and making noise, we hear a very high-pitched dubstep as this sound starts impacting the villain. It's not as powerful as before, but he screams, letting out even more sound waves that he controls as he says, "Stop!" And the villain is pushed off just enough for him to grab Bakugo and throw backwards as him and Bakugo land on the ground, side by side, both breathing heavily as Izuku's right eye is bleeding a bit and his ears are bleeding as well. He gasps as the villain is about to hit him again, and then suddenly All Might is there, saying, "I am here," punching through the villain, screaming, "Detroit Smash!" destroying the villain just as well as Deku did, or Izuku, sorry. And everyone is astonished. They can't believe that, that All Might just appeared. They're just mesmerized by both the music the young man played, which a few people are noticing and recognizing who he is. There we go, sorry. Uh, a few people in the crowd shout, Is that? That is! Uh-oh. As they all start yelling, Izuku! Izuku! As his YouTube name is just his normal name. He doesn't see a reason to hide it from those of the public eye. Sorry. Bakugo looks towards him and says, God damn it, Oompa! Or Unpa. I don't know how to say that. It's Soundwave in Japanese, which is his nickname in this world. Unpa, that was goddamn reckless. And I can't believe you saved me of all people. Izuku's just like, whatever. I'm too tired and hurt to fucking care, man. They both cough up a little bit of blood. And they are carried to the hospital. Izuku stays in there for a day extra, but Bakugo's discharged immediately since he has no major injuries. Jiro comes to visit because she saw the news. And, she sees Deku just listening to music on his bed as he's mixing some things using a laptop, not using his quirk because that'll fucking hurt. Just generally not using his quirk to make music, which is odd to her because that's all she's ever seen. And this sight, for some very odd reason, just draws a tear to her eye, but, you know, she doesn't know why. She walks over to the bed and sits on the chair across from it, and she says, are you okay there? That was totally rocking. As I'm pretty sure she uses that term in the anime. Thanks, Shiro. Yeah, I'm fine. Just a little injured. Nothing much. Are you going to be released tomorrow? He nods. Should be early today. As she realizes the time is like 1 in the morning. Oh, I should probably get home then. Didn't realize how late it was. As they have talked for a little bit. On the phone, as I meant. She just got to the hospital, but they had talked on the phone for a little bit. She goes home. Izuku falls asleep, and he wakes up in the morning to see All Might standing there. Young Midoriya. Izuku is just flabbergasted that All Might's in his hospital room. He says, yes, All Might. All Might responds, I wanted to talk to you about something. It's very top secret, so if I tell you about this, you're going to have to keep it secret. Izuku nods. Earlier yesterday, you showed me that you were such a capable hero, that you defeated the same villain that was knocking out pros here and there, twice, in the span of an hour. You show great promise, and my expectations for you are enormous. But I might have something that can get you even further past your limits. Izuku nods and basically signals for him to keep talking. I have a way to boost your power 10-fold, maybe even 100-fold, and give you new abilities. All I have to know is, do you want to be my successor? Izuku, being flabbergasted again, nods and says, but how will you boost my ability 10-fold? He says, well, that is the top secret bit. My quirk is known as One for All. My ability allows me to pass it on to those who are my successor. It has been passed down for generations of generations. But there is a hidden purpose you must know. One for all, although being a power to save the innocent, to become a signal of peace, was also created to fight someone named All for One. Izuku's like, All for One? Who is that? It's a villain that has a quirk that allows him to steal others' abilities. If you fight him, if you become my successor and are destined to fight him, there is a chance that he will steal your ability. But if you accept and become my successor, you will gain great power and even greater respect from those under you, or those who see you as a hero. And that dream of yours that your friend Bakugo told me about to become a hero will definitely happen. It is a guarantee if you accept. Izuku is a little confused. He says, one last thing. We don't know why, but a lot of the people that have fought All for One in the past have come back brain dead. Just mindless, soulless corpses with a beating heart. That is my last warning. Will you accept? Izuku, being kinda confused about, what's just happening, he nonetheless nods as he says, Yes, All Might, I will become your successor. Thank you for the honor. All Might shakes his head and says, No, it is my honor to be training you as my successor. Such a promising young man. Now, I believe there are a few friends outside waiting for you. You better not keep them waiting. He jumps out the window and flies away, basically. Izuku has this giant smile on his face, as he is so excited. He then stands up as he walks out the door to see Jiro directly in front of him, Bakugo behind her, Bakugo's goons behind him, and then his mom to the left of Jiro. Jiro and his mom hug him at once, as Bakugo pats him on the shoulder, and the two goons behind him just start talking to him as if he's like a good friend. In this moment of clarity, Izuku knows, and he knows that his choice to become All Might's successor was the right one. He will do anything to protect these people, the ones that believe in him, the ones he believes in. He then is messaged by All Might later on that day, asking him to grab a few friends and meet him at a beach. He does. The friends he picks is Jiro and Bakugo. They get to the beach, and when at the beach they see All Might standing there, holding up a few pieces of paper as he says, young Midoriya and friends. I will introduce myself to them, as they most likely already know. I am All Might. They were like, of course we know, as Jiro introduces herself as, I am Kyoka Jiro. And Bakugo introduces himself as, I am Katsuki Bakugo. They both basically shake his hand as they are geeking out. Bakugo's hiding the geekiness, but he's geeking out. Izuku says, Well, All Might, why'd you ask us to meet here? Well, young Midoriya, I wanted to give you guys training regiments. 'Cause there's something I haven't told you, but these friends, I'm assuming they're the ones you trust most. Izuku nods, and All Might says, There's another secret thing about my ability, which, do you trust them enough for me to tell them my ability? Izuku thinks to himself, neither of them has ever betrayed him. He nods his head. And as he does, All Might basically tells them about One for All. But then he says something new. My ability can also be shared through multiple people. It's odd, but it happens somehow. So, young Midoriya, this is your choice. Will you help empower your friends to become a perfect squad with you? For people to get your back? For people that you can truly trust? Or will you keep it to yourself? This is your first test. Izuku immediately, taking the hair, takes the quirk, and then it fits him like a glove immediately. Because remember, he's trained his body basically his whole life, ever since he started quirk training. He then walks over to Jiro and basically touches her hand, and then finds a way as he feels this connection link. Then he walks over to Bakugo and punches his shoulder as the same thing happens. Well, you made that decision fast. Of course I did. If I can make them stronger, to give myself to give myself better odds and to help them be better, then why wouldn't I? Sounds like a logical reduction. Anyway, I have made training regimens for all three of you. I've looked at your medical records to make sure that what is okay is okay. I want you to do these because for the two of you, as he points towards Jiro and Bakugo, the quirk might not work great at the first time. You will need to train your body so that it fits. Also, train your quirk with it. Once you use my ability, one for all, your quirks will be extremely powerful. More so than ever before. So prepare yourself for an adventure of a lifetime. They train, and they train hard, getting all the trash off the beach in the first 2 months. This allows for a lot of hand-to-hand combat lessons and other sort of quirk training. Izuku is taught in Taekwondo, a fury of kicks, punches, spins, and all that. I think that is what it is. Yes. Jiro learns normal defense, just random kicks and punches from different martial arts, just enough to protect yourself, as she's not extremely, reliant on physical offense. Bakugo tries training in the same as Izuku, but his quirk allows him to do so much more than Izuku. So he trains and makes his own fighting style, which all three of them end up doing, but Izuku's resembles Taekwondo a lot. Bakugo's fighting style is mainly aerial, flying around the battlefield, kicking, punching, flipping, throwing, all of that. Izuku is paralyzing, kicking, punching, spinning, all of that. Jiro is much like Izuku, except for she can't fly. And you're asking, how can Izuku fly again? He wraps sound waves in such a way around his body that they vibrate enough that basically he vibrates through more air molecules floating. It's not an exact science, but it's good enough, I hope. They train for those 10 months, eventually getting to minor pro status, if anything, 3rd year status of UA. They are very good. And Izuku has learned how to control, let's say 7% of All For One in his actual body all at once, but he can control about 30% in his voice. Jiro has, by the way, this is dialed down because he's sharing it. 100% of his power of All For One, is actually 25% of actual All For One. I don't know, give me a second. It's 33. They all have 33% of All For One, but with a bunch of random numbers at the end. So he can control about, like, a little bit of it. 7% in his body, which just gives him... It gives him a very good athletic prowess, but not quite enough to, create air currents and shit from just a punch. Well, actually, in the show, never mind, it does. Well, no, because it's minor, I remember. Yes, it doesn't give him the ability to punch through air. um, he's just like 15 times stronger than the normal person. Just 15 times. The other two learn how to control about 5% in their body and about 10% in their quirks. Izuku's unnaturally good at this. Anyway, the day of the UA entrance exam comes to happen. As they all walk to school together, Izuku doesn't trip this time, as his friends keep him up. So no Ochaka introductions yet. They get into the written exam. They all three ace it from Izuku's help, He's the smartest of the group, so he helped them get smarter. Then they go into the auditorium to basically get told what the actual exam was. Present Mike explains about the 1-pointer, 2-pointer, 3-pointer, and then doesn't explain about the fourth robot. When a young man in glasses with blue hair stands up and says, "Excuse me, you did not explain about the fourth robot." What have I said? The fourth robot is a 0-pointer. They're useless. I would rather you stay away from them. And then he continues talking about the exam and villain points, basically defeating villains. He doesn't explain about hero points, as that's a hidden part. Izuku and Jiro are this time at the same exam hall, but Bakugo is split off from them. They're standing at the gates as Present Mike says, as they're just talking normally, Present Mike screams, "Ready, go! There are no countdowns in a real battle!" And Jiro and Izuku are caught off guard a little, but they run as about second and third into the gates, and Izuku immediately summons his hologram as he does a bunch of dials and turns on his music. As robots start surrounding him, he presses a button on the hair clip as the holograms disappear, and the beats made from the holograms just shatter the ground around him as they come in contact with the robots. It immediately destroys all of them, which there's 6 surrounding him, so that's immediately 6 points. They were all 1-pointers. Jiro uses her ear jacks to kind of stab a few. Doesn't do much until she uses the bit of tech that she kind of grabbed from Izuku, and it's another hair clip-like thing, which when she presses it, she can plug her ear jacks into it and then use her heartbeat as a vibration to destroy some robots. Izuku goes around gathering around, let's say, 60 villain points, 20 hero points, equaling up to 80 at the moment. But Jiro gets around 50 villain points just from this piece of hardware. No, let's say 30 hero points, sorry. 30 villain points and 45 hero points, because she helped people more than destroy them. Or help people more than destroy robots. Give me a second. How do I mute this? We see as the robot bursts from a building behind him. The Zero Pointer is extremely terrifying, but he stays steadfast as he hears a scream from under rubble. He sees a girl with brown hair is trapped. As he starts running without thinking. That, my friends, is where we leave this off. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like and comment if you want me to continue this. Alright, have a good day.